This robot wasn't made to be Wi-Fi controlled, but I set out to control it with a custom designed Wi-Fi controller with voice control. Forward. Okay, that was a bad idea. Only issue is I have literally no idea how Wi-Fi or voice control works. I don't even know what Wi-Fi stands for right now. Actually, what does it stand for? Oh, so apparently it stands for wireless fidelity, which makes sense. But I guess the best way to learn is on the job. So let's start off with Wi-Fi. Press this, it'll turn the LED off. Press that, turn it on. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, that's right. I copied and pasted code to get it to work. But it sort of gave me an idea of how it worked. At least it inspired me. And sometimes, inspiration is all you need. But I want to connect two things together, not one thing to the internet or web page or whatever it is. Also, this ESP32 would be kind of big to attach on top of my existing robot. That's when I found this little thing, an ESP8266, which sounds familiar but is much smaller and made for Wi-Fi communications. I uploaded similar code as the one for the ESP32 to see if I can connect to Wi-Fi. Again, I copied and pasted the code. And now we should be able to connect to the Wi-Fi. And it works, so that's cool. And now to research how to connect two things together. I started off by trying to find YouTube videos, but this time was different. There weren't any YouTube videos that would help. So I had to go the hard way. And that's hours and hours of reading, research, and experimenting. Let's see if we can connect there. And as my eyes got dry from having them open for long periods of time, I pieced together at least some essence of Wi-Fi. So here's how it works. We want two things to connect to each other. One of them is called the client and the other the server. In our case, the client is the robot and the server is the soon-to-be designed controller. To have them talk to each other, they need to be in the same place. The server decides to stay put. It has an address, specifically called an IP address, and let's say it's whatever this is. That address is a part of the country called Xfinity Wi-Fi router. Think of Wi-Fi routers like countries and IP addresses like street addresses within them. The server resides in my Wi-Fi router after knowing the router name and password if it needs it, similar to how you would put in your Wi-Fi name and password for your smartphone. The client gets handed that IP address as well as the router name and password, and it goes into the Wi-Fi router, and when the client finds a server with the address it's searching for, they can now meet. So Wi-Fi and IP addresses aren't actually too bad. They're just directions that allow the client to find where the server is so that they can chat and chill. But I'll need a second device to be the server. That's where the Arduino Uno R4 comes in, made by Arduino, who actually sponsored today's video. I'll be using its Wi-Fi capabilities to connect to the robot and an LED array for some cool stuff later on. Armed with the idea of Wi-Fi, I set out to connect the two together. Only issue, well, it actually didn't work. What I didn't know at the time was that you can't just put in any random 4 numbers with 3 dots in between and call it an IP address. I don't know why I thought that would work. And so I need some help. Perhaps a hero. Enter ChatGPT coming in clutch. Let's go. I copied and pasted my code into ChatGPT and it did its magic. Also, whoever came up with copy and paste, props to you, man. Or woman. Okay, so ChatGPT suggested that I can use 4 zeros as an IP address for the server, but it won't actually connect to anything. ChatGPT then suggested a reasonable IP address, but then that didn't work. So I was getting a bit worried. ChatGPT, my only hope, is struggling. But then I tinkered around with the code and let ChatGPT know what I did. Fire emoji. The Uno R4 is not connecting to the Wi-Fi network. The connection hasn't been established. You see, every time a device properly connects to a Wi-Fi router automatically gives it an IP address, only if it isn't pre-assigned one. Okay, makes sense. When I didn't pre-assign one to the server, which is the Arduino Uno R4, the Wi-Fi router apparently gave it the nonsensical all zeros IP address. I don't know why that is, but maybe it's because my router was sussed out by my Arduino Uno R4. But I'm like, I trust it. I mean, I've known about Arduino since like 8th grade or something. And it's also from Italy. I mean, I've got nothing against Italians. I love spaghetti. And you know about those Wi-Fi routers. They can't taste spaghetti, so. Then, ChatGPT saw what the client's, which is the ESP8266's IP address was. And it was able to come up with this example code. I pasted the code and modified it to try and send some text. Connected. Yes! And it worked. Not entirely sure why, but it seems that ChatGPT happened to assign Arduino Uno R4's IP address to one that wasn't already taken, allowing the Wi-Fi router to trust it, I guess. Honestly, at this point, I'm just glad we finally got two things connected. And now for the rest of the project. So at this point, I thought I got the bulk of the project's difficulty out of the way, which is kind of true, but there's still much more to do. Let's put together the electronics. Should be relaxing and therapeutic in comparison to Wi-Fi. So the electronics for the controller consist of the Arduino Uno R4, as well as a voice recognition module, which is what I'm sort of afraid of, and 2 joysticks for direct control of the robot. The joysticks each send 2 numbers to the Arduino from 0 to 1023. I'll only be needing forwards and backwards movement for each joystick in this project, so that means that I'll use 1023 as fully forward and 0 as fully back. Voice control, I'll figure that out later. Then we have the breadboard to unite all of those components together. It's not pretty, but it works. Now, to deal with voice control, this is the other thing that I'm not comfortable with. But actually, it turned out to be very simple. Turn on the light.
Okay.
Turn off the light.
Okay.
That's right. You have voice control. That's nice and all, but those 2 commands are actually pre-programmed, like it actually came with that. So what if I want to...
Off now.
Okay, well, it's off now, but what if I want to say flash lights? Doesn't do anything. But how about I do this? Learning command word.
Please say the first command to be learned.
Flashlights.
Learning successful. Please say again.
Flashlights.
Learning successful. Please say again.
Flashlights.
Okay. Learn the first command successfully.
Okay, here's the what.
Okay. Forgotten.
What? Flashlights.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, I thought it was... There we go. So all you need to do is to tell the voice module phrases that you want it to remember, and whenever you say that phrase again, there is a number associated with that phrase, which is then sent to the Arduino. Then the Arduino can do a specific action with that number, which I can program in because I have a table that lists out all the numbers as well as what they mean. So let's change some numbers there to see how fast it responds. So basically what I did here is the colon indicates the next full message being sent. N means that there is no voice command to be followed. So if I did hello robot,
Yes, I'm here.
and then I said forward,
Okay. Got it.
that changes to F and that changes to F. The moment that you try and control directly with a joystick is when it starts to become an N. I mean, maybe it's like a split-second delay, but it's not too bad. Okay, so this circuit is actually horrendous as a controller, as you can see, so let's design a housing for it. It's basically just a bottom plate and a top plate which fits onto these nubs here, and then I cut some holes to save weight. It's actually not really to save weight, it just makes it look cool. Now, this hole over here is somewhat useful. Let's see the LED matrix. Okay, so the CAD looks very nice, very tidy, and now we just need to 3D print and assemble. Should be easy, right? Yep. It's gonna feel so nice. It's so nice, man. Okay, maybe not that easy, but after some finagling, I managed to fit everything. This one should change. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. So we got the controller, and we can connect to the ESP8266, and the ESP8266 is not on the robot. Oh, wait a minute. The ESP8266 is not on the robot. Well, should be a quick solder job. And now to see if the data from the controller actually gets to the brain of the robot. And now look at this. This is the robot code, not the receiver code. Interestingly, we can actually see when the ESP8266 relays information to the Arduino with the blinking LEDs. So now we have achieved the full journey that the information would have to go through, from the controller's Wi-Fi transmitter on the Arduino to the ESP8266 Wi-Fi receiver, and then from that to the Arduino on the robot through some wires. Only issue is that the stuff received by the Arduino on the robot and printed back to us is completely useless. So you might be saying that these two things side by side are exactly the same, but it's all a lie. So there's a difference between a character and an actual numerical value that can be used by a computer. The ESP8266 only sends characters, basically letters or digits, and it's all symbols to the Arduino on the robot. When you and I see the numbers 5 and 0 right next to each other, we would see that number as 50, and we would associate it with a value of 50. Something that's greater than 40, less than 60, stuff like that. When the Arduino on the robot sees the numbers 5 and 0 right next to each other, It only sees them as symbols. It doesn't interpret it as a value that is greater than 40 or less than 60 or anything like that. In fact, it thinks that 5 and 0 are completely different, unrelated symbols. So we need to program in their interpretation of those symbols into a numerical value. So essentially, the Arduino on the robot has received the mail from the controller, but it has no idea what those symbols mean. Luckily, it has me, who struggled for 3 hours trying to figure it out. But I did it, and I did it without using ChatGPT, only the internet and trial and error. Now, I know this looks exactly the same as before, but trust me, it works. Or not. I mean, I guess you'll trust me when the entire project works. And here we are, the entire project on one table. You're gonna have to trust me when this works, okay? I mean, just you wait. Hopefully this thing works, and yeah, I guess we'll start it up. There's the LEDs back there. Oh, I wonder what that says. I think you guys know what to do. Well, okay, I'm not forcing you, but I mean, if you want to, then of course, do whatever the LED said. Now that we got that started, you turn this on, lights are good. Gotta ease it in there. No way, it actually works. Look at that. I'm drifting, let's go. Try going forwards. Oh, okay. Now for voice recognition, this thing right here. Let's try it out. Hello, robot.
Yes, I'm here.
Forwards.
Okay, got it.
Oh, what? Forwards.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Hello, robot.
Yes, I'm here.
Let's choose a wise direction. Left. There we go. And now it spins. Now we just gotta put in a manual direct input and it stops.
I'm off now.
Okay, thank you. You're not gonna blow anything up now. So yeah, very happy about how this turned out. I learned a lot about Wi-Fi, about voice recognition. Fun project, as I've said, but I think this robot wants to be free. Hello, robot.
Yes, I'm here.
Be free.
Okay, got it.
I was always afraid of trying to figure out how Wi-Fi and voice recognition worked. We often convince ourselves to follow the commands of our fears and our doubts, but sometimes we just have to ignore them to find out what's on the other side.